how we doing? Welcome to the weekly vlog. It's Monday and I'm just gonna put away groceries while I talk to you. Is that a good idea? Can I focus on two things at once? Probably not, but I'm gonna do my best. Yeah, so it is Monday afternoon now. Apparently it's already 2 o'clock somehow. I've just returned home from the dentist, so obviously I'm having a bad day. I went to the dentist like 2 weeks ago to get a couple fillings, and I needed to get 2 more, but my benefits only cover like a certain amount per day, so I had to wait. So yeah, today I got the last 2 and now I'm good. I'm done at the dentist for quite a while, hopefully, fingers crossed. And then I just had like some errands to run afterwards. I finally went and mailed out my brother's Christmas card. It's like 2 weeks late. It is what it is. They'll get it eventually. But yeah, I did that. And then of course, because I went to the dentist, I also went to the bookstore as a reward for myself. But unfortunately, they didn't have any of the books that I wanted to get in person. But I did get a couple more candles because of course I did. All of their like leftover Christmas stuff is on sale. So I got this candle, apple and cedar, for $4. Sounds great to me. Love that. And I got another candle somewhere in here. Is buried amongst all of my cans. I'll find it momentarily. I also got this page holder for like, I have a hard time holding like chunky hardcovers mainly, so I thought that would be handy, and it was pretty cheap. It was only 10 bucks, so why not? Oh, there it is. It is wood fire scented, and the lid comes off like that. It's pretty cool. This smells exactly like a campfire, and it's delicious. So I had to get that, and that was on sale for $5. Love that for me. But yeah, those are my 3 things that I got from Indigo, and then I went to the post office, which is inside of a Shoppers Drug Mart, and they also have a little bit of a book section. So I did look at a book today. Very happy about that. I wasn't going to buy this because I have it on my Kindle through Libby, so I don't need it. But I got it anyway because it was on sale. He Did Rivalry by Reid. I've been obsessed with the show. I know this is book 2. I am going to read book 1 first, but I love this cover. I love the show so much. Just the title of the show, so I wanted to have this one on my shelf. I'm not going to collect the whole series, just this one book, and it was on sale, so I had to get it. Couldn't be stopped. Anyways, current reads, since I've got my Kindle here, anyways, I might as well bring that up. So last night I started reading We Hunt the Flame by Hafsah Faizal, which was my pick out of my backlist jar, backlist berry. This book was added to my TBR in 2021, and it's one of the oldest books on my TBR. I only read the first chapter last night, so I'm only 3% of the way through, and honestly, I was kind of half asleep, so I am going to probably have to reread the first chapter, but I've at least started it. No thoughts yet, but I'll let you know when I do have some thoughts. Other than that, I am currently reading Our Share of Night by Mariana Enriquez. This is a very long audiobook, but it's very good so far. I don't really know what's going on. I'm not gonna lie. I am about 35-ish% of the way through, and I don't really know what the plot is going to be, but I'm having a good time regardless. I like the characters. The setting is really cool. It's creepy. There's demons and dark magic afoot, so having a good time. It's just quite long and quite slow, so which are the things that I was worried about, but I'm not disliking it, at least, and I definitely like it enough to continue it. I don't think it'll be a 5-star, at least at this point in time, but I still have many hours to go for things to change. But right now it's feeling more like a 4-star, which is still excellent. But yeah, those are the current reads. I do have a couple of plans for other reads for this week, but I'll see how long it takes me to read Our Share of Night, because most of my current Libby holds are audiobooks. So I gotta finish that one before I can move on to other things. I do also really want to start, what's it called? Game Changers by Reid. And over ebook, I need to start the Cozy Quill book club read, which is A Fellowship of Bakers and Magic by somebody whose name I don't know. So that's the loose plan for this week. Who knows what'll happen? We'll figure it out. Anyways, I gotta put away my groceries, and I need to film my December wrap up now that we're halfway through January. Whoopsies. I have such a huge backlog of videos that I already have filmed for like the New Year content. I would like to post 3 videos a week just to get all of those out, but I don't know if I have the energy and the time to edit that much, but we'll see. I'll do my best. Anyways, we'll chat later on once I have some further updates. Wednesday. And hello from Tony over here as well. Tony's had a rough day. He was at the vet today. Nothing serious, just his monthly arthritis shot and all his old man things. He did poop in the car today. We were so close. We were literally like maybe 10 seconds away from getting home. He's a nervous pooper, so it is what it is. He doesn't like cars. Anyways, enough about Tony's poop. I am just about to head to bed fairly early. It's not even 11 o'clock yet. I did an experiment today. So the reason for this experiment was because on Monday night, I slept wonderfully. I was asleep before midnight and I slept through the entire night, didn't wake up once. And the next day I was like, wow, I never sleep that well. That's amazing. And then later on I realized that on Monday morning, I didn't have time to have a coffee, so I just had an iced tea real quick. And then when I got home, I just forgot to make one. So I didn't have actual coffee, I just had the iced tea. And that was the only thing that was different. So I'm like, if that's what made me able to sleep early and actually stay asleep was the lack of coffee, then I'm gonna be really upset because I love coffee so much. So today I figured it was my day off. It'd be a good time to experiment and see if I actually need coffee or not. So I just had a cup of tea this morning. And yeah, I think I need to stop drinking coffee. And I'm really sad about that. I do have a little bit of a caffeine headache right now, but I didn't get that caffeine headache until like 10 o'clock. So I think a large part of my poor sleep schedule has to do with the amount of coffee that I drink. So that's unfortunate because I genuinely, like, I love the taste of coffee so much. I could just drink decaf, but like that just feels pointless. I don't know. I'm sad about it, but it's for the best because I really can't keep getting such little amount of sleep every night. I typically only sleep maybe 5 or 6 hours max, and I also wake up quite a few times throughout the night, and I thought that was just normal because it's been like that for so many years, but no, it's probably the coffee. So shit. Anyways, reading updates. I am about 75% of the way through Our Share of Night, and I don't really know what's going on. I'm not gonna lie, I've kind of lost the plot, but for some reason I'm still really enjoying it, and I don't really know why, but I am, and I'm not going to question that too hard. Even though I don't have a clue what's happening, it's still interesting. The writing is really pretty, the characters are cool, I like the magic and the demony stuff. It's very creepy and dark, the atmosphere and the setting are great, so all of the elements are definitely there. It's just the plot completely lost me. I don't even know when I got lost, but it was quite a while ago. This book kind of feels like a fever dream. Hi, Tony. He's just standing here very weirdly. Anyways, I don't even know what I was saying now. I don't know. I think that was really all that I had to say about that. I just don't really know what's actually going on, but it's still very good. I'm thinking it'll probably get like a 3.5 star. I don't think that I can justify giving it a 4 star. I don't really know what it's about. And then with, what's it called? We Hunt the Flame. Trying to open my Kindle one-handed over here. I am currently 28% of the way through, and I'm planning on reading at least a couple more chapters tonight before I go to sleep. I'm just gonna get all cozied up in bed and read a few chapters of that. But this one I'm actually really enjoying a lot more than I thought that I would, just because I don't really read YA fantasy anymore. But this book doesn't really feel like a YA to me. I don't know the age of the female main character yet, but the male main character said that he was 20 years old, and I'm assuming it's going to be a romance between the two of them, which would make the female main character probably also around 20, which to me is no longer YA. So I feel like this book is perhaps being called YA because it was written by a woman and therefore is taken less seriously and considered to be for children because patriarchy. But yeah, I'm quite liking this. The writing is very dramatic, but I'm kind of getting used to that. It's growing on me a bit, and I am really intrigued by the magic system, and the adventure is just about to start, so I'm very much looking forward to seeing where that goes. But yeah, I think that's all that I have to say. I'm hoping to finish Our Share of Night maybe tomorrow. I think the audiobook at the speed that I have it at is going to be another 2 hours roughly, so hopefully tomorrow I can finish that one up and then move on to my next audiobook, which will be Stay in the Light by A.M. Shine, which is the sequel to The Watchers. So those are the plans. Fingers crossed that can happen tomorrow. That would be lovely. Not that I'm sick of this book, but I also am ready to move on to the next thing. I don't often read books that are this long, and it's definitely getting to me where I'm kind of starting to feel a little bit bored by reading the same story and follow the same characters for so many days in a row. I'm not bored yet, but I can see myself getting there if this takes more than the next day or two to finish, if that makes sense. I'm gonna stop talking. I'm going to bed. Good night. I meant to update much earlier in the week, but I forgot. I haven't been that busy, but I also haven't been reading a whole lot this week until the last 2 days. It's Sunday, by the way. Welcome to the end of the week. I spent a good chunk of this week coloring while watching Supernatural. My roommate surprised me with a coloring book full of swear words, and I love that. So I've just been enjoying doing that for the last couple of days. Also, I had no idea that there was a new season of Drag Race airing, so that's also taken up quite a bit of my attention. I am loving this season so far. It's so much fun. Hi, Tony. Other than that, I've actually been going to bed early this week. I think I was saying earlier in the week that I'm trying to have tea instead of coffee, which while I'm very sad about not being able to have coffee because I love coffee so much, it is actually working where I'm sleeping much better. I've actually been going to bed before midnight for the last 3 days in a row and sleeping all through the night. And I actually feel rested when I wake up. So what a concept. Didn't know that was possible. But anyways, I do have some reading updates for you. So I finished Our Share of Night the other day, and I did give this one a 3.5 star as I thought I would. It was great. I had a really fun time with it. I thought the characters were great. The best part was definitely the atmosphere and the magic. It was dark and horrific, especially towards the end. Things got real fucked up real quick. So I definitely enjoyed that part of it. It was fairly creepy. I wouldn't have minded a little bit extra creep factor, you know, things didn't feel very tense a lot of the times, and I definitely would have appreciated just a little bit more tension in that way. And then I sort of picked the plot back up later on, but I still didn't quite manage to fully grasp what was going on. I had a vague idea, but there were plenty of times where I'm like, I don't know what's going on, but I'm just along for the ride. And that was kind of my overall experience with this book, was just kind of vibing, basically. But still a great read. I'm glad that I finally picked it up. And yeah, 3.5 stars for that one. And then with We Hunt the Flame, I am now 68% of the way through this book, and I'm hoping to finish it tonight, maybe tomorrow morning. I am enjoying this book, but I'm not fully loving it. I really like the world and the magic system. I like the characters individually as well, especially what's his name? The funny guy, Altair, I think is his name. I like Saphira, I like Nasir individually, but I don't love their romance at all. I really wish that this was not turning into a romance, because I find that's kind of taking away from my interest in the plot. All of the flirting and the, looking at each other and gazing across the way is kind of irritating me a little bit, because I just really want to focus on the plot and the magic and the world building. But among the friendships that are forming, I really love all the bickering. I think this cast of characters is a lot of fun together. They're all kind of arguing, but it's sort of lighthearted and fun, and it just seems like they're all kind of starting to begrudgingly become friends, and I very much enjoy that. So I'm definitely having a good time with this one. I doubt it'll get more than a 4 star at this point, but you never know, maybe it'll surprise me. And then I've also started a couple things as well. So I started and then DNF'd Fellowship of Bakers and Magic by Jay Penner, I think was the author's name. This was the monthly pick for the Cozy Quill book club on Discord. I got about 14% of the way through this one, and I was not really enjoying it. I was at first. I liked the first chapter, and then as soon as the love interest was introduced, I was out, basically. I don't really know why, but for some reason the love interest was rubbing me the wrong way, and I could just tell that it was not going to be the romance for me. Maybe it would have gotten better. Maybe I could have ended up loving it. Who knows? I will not be finding out. And then with the writing, I did like it for the most part, but there were a few instances, actually a lot of instances, where things were dramatically over-explained, and that was also a little bit irritating to read. And then I have 2 more current reads. I'm reading too many things right now. Only 3, but still that feels like too many things. So I started the audiobook for Stay in the Light by A.M. Shine, which is the sequel to The Watchers. I had my issues with The Watchers. I did a page to screen episode where I read the book and then watched the movie. I'll leave that linked down below if you want to check that out. But The Watchers had such good potential to be exactly the kind of book that I love. I love the feeling of being watched. That's my favorite kind of horror, and this book had the perfect setup for that, and then it vastly underdelivered. But the character work was excellent, and there was really good potential for it to improve, so I was really hoping that the sequel would be a lot better, and it definitely is. I'm about 30 to 40% of the way through it right now, and I'm having a blast with it. It's really creepy, it's atmospheric, it's so tense, and I am loving this one. Actually, I was listening to it last night, and I was at a really tense part of it. I was getting ready for bed, and I turned around, and my roommate had come out of her room, but I didn't hear her, and I screamed so loud. It was so embarrassing. But yeah, this book is definitely getting to me, and I am very much enjoying it, so I'm glad that I tried out the sequel, even though I didn't love book 1. And then finally for right now, I've also started reading Game Changers by Rachel Reid, which is the first book in the series that the Heated Rivalry TV show is based off of, and I am loving this one so far. I was reading it on the treadmill at the gym, and I am currently 13% of the way through, so just barely getting started into it, but I'm already completely obsessed. This book has had me giggling and grinning, and I'm so looking forward to getting farther into this book. Book 1 follows Scott and Kip, who were the main characters in the 3rd episode of the TV show. And yeah, I'm having a blast with this. The writing is not like incredible, but it is very cute, and I love the characters, and the yearning is excellent. So definitely having fun with this one. But yeah, those are my many reading updates right now. I definitely should have updated earlier in the week, but here we are. I'm going to get out of my gym clothes, go make some dinner. I don't have any plans tonight aside from reading, so hopefully I'll finish We Hunt the Flame tonight. But either way, I'll check in possibly tonight, but most likely it'll be sometime tomorrow to wrap things up. Alrighty, it is Monday. We're here to wrap up the weekly vlog. Tony's also here and wants to say hello, apparently. So I actually have 2 things to wrap up. I technically finished both of these today on Monday, but I'm just going to wrap them up in this week's vlog. That way I don't have to reintroduce them in the next vlog. So I finished reading We Hunt the Flame this morning, and I liked a lot of this book, but there were a few things that I really didn't like. I ended up giving it a 3.5 star, but like just barely a 3.5 star. I really didn't like the romance. I thought it took away from quite a bit of the story, and then towards the end the plot got a little bit jumbled for me. I will for sure still read the sequel, but I was just a little bit confused and got kind of lost, and again the romance kind of killed the vibe quite a bit. I really wish that there were more books that just didn't have any romance in them at all. Just give me a cool group of people who just all become great friends, and I think that would be lovely. I don't need every book to have romance in it. But yeah, overall pretty good time. I did still like it, and yeah, I'll read book 2 at some point, hopefully soon. That's always the goal, but who knows. And then I also finished reading Stay in the Light by A.M. Shine, and I loved this. This was great. I'm giving it a 4 star because there were, you know, a handful of like little issues with it, but for the most part this was a phenomenal book. I'm so glad that I chose to give book 2 a chance, even though I didn't love book 1. This was so much better in like literally every way. The character work was just as good as it was in book 1, but the thing that was missing from book 1 was the tension, and book 2 definitely had that. I docked it a couple of points just because of the ending was pretty unsatisfying. This book was published in 2024, and so far there is no word of a 3rd book of the series, and if this does not get a 3rd book, then the ending is going to be so unsatisfying because it ended in a way where there should definitely be a 3rd book, but as far as I know I couldn't find any info about a 3rd book even in production, so fingers crossed that there will be. But yeah, I had a really good time with this book, and I actually really want to read more of this author's books now. They have a couple of other things out that sound really cool, so at some point I'll check those out as well. I love Irish folk horror. I think it's so good. I love the atmosphere of that area, and fairy horror is excellent, so definitely want to check out more of that. But yeah, other than that, I think that'll do it for this week's vlog. So thank you as always for coming along. I appreciate ya. I hope you had a fantastic week, and I'll catch you in the next video.